Hello, once again, this is Chauncey Wyatt, aka Charlie Barley, back with another free video. This one is permutations for columns. Excuse me. Permutations for columns. It's if you have the current permutation, or if you've already looked at the original permutations video, that's the basis, the theoretical basis for the theory in columns is the same way. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to show you how you would play it and the advantages and the disadvantages per se in playing through the columns. However, once you understand it, you'll see that you may want to integrate playing columns with red and black, or alternating them. Okay, it's one of the reasons why I'm giving you the free original permutations and also permutations for columns, because you can actually break it down even within the columns to extend your progressions. And I'm going to show you how to do that. And this is all free stuff. This is not even the this is not anything you have to pay for. This is all free, and it's very, very good stuff. So believe me, if this is all you use and you never get anything else, it will not break my heart. Okay, it will not. I will be fine. However, if you do not want to do any guesswork, you want me to play it for you, I have team play sessions that you can come sit in, and you basically just pay a session fee for an hour, which is depends on your strategy. If you're playing a low roll session, a mid roll session, or a high roll session, you just pay for the session, like say $20 in any session. Depending on what session you join, you're looking at anywhere between 150, on the low side, say 60. That's really, 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 really low. Which I doubt we'd even be that low, but just say 60 to 150, 200 on the low side. It's on the high side, you can make as much as 1,000 in a session. The session is 1 hour. It's a method that I have worked on for the last 2 years that I'm not giving away or selling. But what's happening is that this method works so well that it makes no sense for me to do it by myself, because even if I did it alone, I'd make more money helping people do it. See, I'd make more money because of the time. So, and the time and the money that I would be spending to actually make the same money, I could make double the money in the same time if I actually help people. So I'm in it for the money. Make no mistake about this. I want to help you, obviously, but I'm not going to do it unless it benefits you. That's the reason why I like what I do, because it benefits people. It works. It benefits people. You could sit in on a live session, or you can look at a lot of the videos that I've got coming up that you can see me showing you how the team play sessions work on video. I have a few hours on the website. But if you want to sit in on a live session, just click on a live session. You can play in a live session, but once you do one live session, you can't do 2 live sessions. Okay, so once you've done one, you can't do 2. It's over. But you can do the first one, and that'll be that one. And you can play, or you can just listen in. Like the sit-in sessions, I'm definitely going to show you how, just like any of the videos, you'll see me calling out the plays and us winning. Out of the 10,000 or more spins I've done, the maximum I've seen in this in terms of a progression has been 7. And we can go about 16 progressions. Okay, so this is why this is really good. But that's the team play. Now, let's get on back to the free stuff. So we are going to talk about permutations for columns. It's much different than the original permutations video. Okay, so let's just take a look at what I mean. All right, so first things first, let's talk about the columns. The columns are much different than red and black, because within a column you have 12 different numbers. All right, the way the game works is that the ball spins around the wheel, obviously, and it lands on a number. Okay, it didn't land on a column. The column is attached to the number. The primary way we get data in the game is not through columns, it's through numbers. Okay, so if you're going to break down the game, you've got to break down the game using numbers first. So 27 is significant. Okay, just the same way 8 is significant. However, the reason why we focus on columns and permutations, even though the game to really be dominated, you have to really judge it by numbers. The reason that we're breaking it down into columns is because regardless of the number, what we're going to do is position ourselves to usurp a large majority of the control of where the ball has more probability of landing. Here's what I mean by that. So in a standard permutation, you would play, say, red or black, right? Well, in columns, you have 3 columns and instead of 2 options. So what we do is we would cover two of the columns here, just like this. Okay. So we would cover 2, leaving this 1 out. So if we win here, let's spin this and see if we win. If we win, then, oh, maybe I need to reset it. Oh, just 1 second. Let me reset this. Sometimes if you wait too long, and again, I'm still having slow internet connection where I'm at. So some of these videos I've been doing kind of back to back. And I'm in the same place. All right, so let's take a look at this. All right, so if we put here this one and that one, right? So this is what we get if we win. All right, so we lost that. So we're down $10. Okay. So let's spin it again. So we were at 990. All right. So we were at 990. So we're at 995. We just won we won that one, obviously, but we won it because we were 2 out of the 3. So instead of putting $5 on just a single column and being 1 out of 3, now the method that I do in team play, I actually play like this. But that's because I judge it by the numbers and not necessarily the columns. We just play using columns. But if you don't have a good strategy, don't ever play this way, okay? Because you will definitely zonk out quick. And I don't care how large your bankroll is. You're always going to be 2 to 1. Any 2 to 1 is a disadvantage, okay? So you have to break the game down in other ways if you're going to play this way. So never do this way if you're playing permutations for columns. Always have the advantage. Always have a 2 to 1 advantage. However, if you lose, I'm going to show you how to increase your progressions, and we'll look at some spreadsheets in just a second. All right, so the basic premise is to do this. So let's say, let's get some, let's do this. Let's get some, we're going to go up to, now the thing about columns, let me bring out the spreadsheet while I'm thinking about it. The progressions can be very short, and I'm going to show you how to overcome that. Let's see, let's close this. Wrench. Let's get Columbine. No, not anomalix. Okay, we can use this one. All right, so the same way this strategy works, we're going to use this as a way to decipher how we want to place our bet. So as you can see here, if we were doing a permutation, I'm going to, let me copy this. This is going to make sense in just a second, so be patient. I just don't like having too long of videos because I do know I run in on tangents, and some of the stuff I don't necessarily have to say twice. And but I'm just, sometimes I get excited about it because it's almost like being a kid in the candy store when you have a really cool toy. Oh man, especially like this, you know, it's just my whole perspective is very different, and the way I see life and things, I'm grateful for this, what some people would call crazy perspective, because it's paying off very big. How you see the world, how you see yourself, determines the type of risk you take based upon your knowledge and understanding of the games in which you play. Whether they're in a relationship, whether they're in business or anything, we're all playing a game. It's all win or everything's about winning and losing. Whether you're in love or you're in business, something is always a win or lose. There's a winner, there's a loser. So which one are you going to be? How are you going to master the winning part? Because you will lose sometimes, but how do you become the majority winner? You got to understand the game. Anyway, so let me not go there. All right, so basically, if we were playing with $5, to keep this from going too high, the maximum progression that we would take is 5, because that's 1,200 or 1,200 bucks. Now it sounds like a lot for just 5 progressions, but here's what you've got to consider: you're 2 for 1. Okay, you're not 50. You're not even 50-50. You're literally 2 for 1. So because you have the majority of the control here, all right, in this two for 1 special, that's the reason why the progressions are higher in the short amount of time, because you actually have a huge advantage having a 2 for 1 advantage in every single session that you play. Now let's go a little deeper, because one of the things we want to do when we're playing this way is to cover the zero. And the reason you want to cover the zero in playing this way, now if we were playing I have a couple of strategies that you can play. I'll show you how to play using columns like this. I'll give you an example. Well, I didn't actually mean to win. Just to give you an idea. Let me show you. So, didn't mean to win again. Lose. There we go. So we have strategies that, you know, you could play using columns and different things like that. And you have progressions which are much longer than what we're doing here. But again, those progressions are longer because you're making more money, because you're not having to do a 2 for 1. You see, we're playing double the money, but we're getting half the reward. However, the advantage that we have is the fact that we have double the coverage, or double the double the coverage of the board itself. So we own, you know, more than 60% of the board in any given spin, 66% to be exact if we're covering the zero. So we own a huge portion of the board. Okay, so that's an advantage that we have, and because of that advantage, that's the reason why the progressions are shorter. So let me go ahead and go a little further here. All right, so we're back here. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna play the zero. Now you can do a single zero or a double zero if you're doing this at a casino, or if you're doing this you know, by yourself, or if you're doing this online. I always recommend playing at a single zero, because you make more money, obviously, you know, and you save more money. But a double zero, it's not quite the same. You're gonna have to cover the zero and the double zero, which they call an American wheel, or European wheel just has a single zero. So if you want to do that, you could use the spreadsheet. Come to any spreadsheet like Anomalix, this one tab here where it says Anomalix. Close this. It says Anomalix right here. You can use this spreadsheet, copy and paste it, and create your own progression style. You can increase this to however much you want, whatever your bankroll can be. But theoretically, I'm going to show you the theory how to make money with it in a second. Because you can see the escalation of failure can rise high. So the key is to be winning between 1 and 2. You never really, I mean, if you go 3 progressions, you don't ever really want to go 3. Which is fine, take 3, but you certainly not 4 or 5. That's a red zone. But it's a double or nothing board. So let's just take a look at it. But as you can see, before I go there, let me cover this real quick. So with the dollar here on the zero, you can see here that you profited 4. If you hit the zero, it would have been 25. And if we put another dollar here, it's going to go down to $3. And as you can see, the profit for the zero is -6. So what we have to do is increase this to say maybe 20, and we'll put $2 to make it kind of feasible, or you can adjust it to say 18. There we go. So that looks a little bit more feasible. It looks workable. So we got $5, 23, 4, 25. All right, so you can adjust that according to what makes sense for you. All right, so let's just go ahead and start. Let's talk about a little bit the theory of permutations as it relates to columns. All right, so we have, if we look here, if we judge this by the dozens, so this would be 3, 1, 2, 1. Okay, and if we're gonna bet that this 4 like this doesn't repeat. Okay, it can repeat, but we can bet that it doesn't repeat. So what we do is, just on the onset, we'll say, all right, this 3, 1, 2, 1. So this is 30, which is in dozens 3, 4, which is in dozens 1, 21, which is in dozens 2, and 1, which is in dozens 1. So when we restart the betting, we're going to bet that it doesn't go to dozens 3, which will look like this. Okay. And if we were betting here, it actually hit dozens 1 and we would have won. All right. So let's just look and see what these last 4 here. 1, 1, 2, 2. All right. So let's see what that looks like. We're going to bet against this. 1. All right. So that's the coverage of the third, the column. So now we've won those. We won like these. We won this one. So we covered 2 and 3. We left 1 open because we were trying to get 1 to repeat. It did not repeat. Because it did not repeat, we won. See how that works? So let's try it again. So we have 1, 2, 2, 3. 1, 2, 2, 3. Okay, so let's just try and see what that looks like. 1, 2, 2, 3. 1. And whatever the progression looks like, that's what you do. I forget what it looks like. So, and you can always make this, because you can play this. Now, this is one that you can probably play every spin. And I'm going to show you a couple of things you can do too before we get too deep into that. If you're playing, say, like if you're using, if you're doing a very minimum, say like $1, your first bet should not, you don't cover the 0 because your risk is not, you're only talking $1. So your risk is not that high. You shouldn't go that high. And maybe not even the second one. And what that does is just going to save you some money. But maybe the third progression, we can say 7, and let's just go 8, 9, and there we go. So we can do that. But if we want to cover that 0, we need to do something like that. Okay, so that way we have some money if we do hit the 0. Okay. All right, so then you can go ahead and work out the mathematics on that. But basically, that's just going to do nothing but extend your progression. And remember, you always have a 2-to-1 advantage. And like the first 2, though, you probably want to leave that. Yeah, just leave that without the 0. Okay. All right, so just leave 3. Yeah, start 3 maybe here with the 11s. You know, if you're doing $1 minimum anyway, you could start there. But when you get to say maybe a double digit, that's when you definitely want to cover it. All right. So let's just go back. Let's just go back to theory, and I'm going to break down something a little bit more. All right. So we got a 2, 3, 1, 1, and 2. All right. And we have a 3, 1, 1, 3. 3. All right. And we have a 1, 1, 3, 2. All right. So let's see what that looks like. All right. So you kind of got an idea of the theory behind it. Now, to make this, to stretch out your permutations, if you want to be safer, what you can do is, if this is like 1, 3, 2, 3, then 1, 3, 2, 3, then you can wait until you see a pattern that repeats like the first 2, and then you can bet the rest after that. You got me? So if you want to do, say, like a 7, you only have money to cover, say, five progressions, but you want to give the game 2 for a total of, it has to repeat 7. It has to do a repeat of 7 columns. All right. Of which you're going to give it 2. Now you may have to wait for it. You may have to see like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These first 2, you're going to have to find a match for that. So you go back 7, and so this is 3 and this is 1. So you're going to have to wait for a 3 and a 1. If a 3 and a 1 doesn't hit, then you just look at the last 2 from here, and then just get a match for the first 2. Once you find a match on the first 2, then you start to bet everything after it. So, but again, if you were, this is where you only bet based upon your money. Okay, so let's just understand that. So if you only got enough money to do 5 progressions, then if you're going to give the game 2, say two plays in advance for a total of 7 progressions, what I mean by that is that you're telling the game, can you repeat 7? Because if it's going to repeat 7, it's going to repeat it, right? But that's the query. Can you repeat 7? You only have enough money to compete with 5 of those. So you allow the game to repeat the first 2, and then you play the last 5. So you will go back, if you were to do that, you go back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is a 2, 3, 1. All right. So we're going to have to get the first 2 and a 3 to repeat. If it doesn't repeat, then we have to find another match. So it didn't repeat. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's a 3 and a 1. All right. So let's see if that repeats. No, it didn't. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there is a 1 and a 1. Let's see if it repeats. All right, so that didn't repeat either. All right, so you can see how it can kind of be time consuming to actually do this. And forgive me if you guys hear some background noises. There are some people who I do know who actually are having an adjoining room at the hotel that I'm at. And this is really a good session, so I'm not going to go tell them to be quiet because I don't want to really stop what we're doing. This is really, really good. But they're having a good time, and they need to have a good time because a lot of my family members, we had just suffered a really major loss. My niece, she died at 11 years old, and that was just really, really, really crushing to us. And because it was so crushing, we've just really decided to really start to come together. So I've been taking a lot more time with my family, and I advise you guys to do the same. You know, we all experience loss. Everyone's going to die, and we just don't know when. And, you know, you have children that die. It just really puts a new stamp on the gift of life, because you just never know when it's over for someone. So forgive the background noise, but it's actually a joy for me to hear it, because I swear to you, every day I'm going to live my life in glee. I'm going to live my life in peace. So I just wanted to give you guys that tad bit, because I'm thinking, you know, it's kind of disruptive to the video, but it just dawned on me while we're even here. You know what I mean? Like, it just hit me. Why are you here? I'm not here to make money. I'm here to enjoy my time. But in the process, we'll have to make some money. So we're going to do both. And the cool thing is, you know, this is not, we're family. Like, we don't really have to put on suit and ties when we talk about this stuff, right? All right, so let's just go ahead and finish this up real quick. I got about 4 more minutes, and then I'll be done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's a 1 and a 3. Let's see if that 1 and 3 repeats, right? 1, it did not. But as you can see, even if we were doing, we would have won those 3. You see how easy it also it is to win. You see what I'm saying? So because you have that 2-to-1 advantage, you could play this method a lot more better than you play, you know, some other method. You see what I'm saying? So that's just the way it is. And it's, you know, it's because of that 2-to-1 factor. Because you have that, that's what makes this all worth the while. And so you can practice this. You can practice this, see how it feels. Just go back at whatever your bankroll is. If you want to go spin for spin, if you got bankroll to cover 5, then you can just do 5. If you can cover 5, you want to give the game 1 or 2 in advance, go for it. I kind of recommend, I mean, this game is really chaotic wherever you play, whether it's on red or black or sets of dozens. So it's just the way it is. And it's also, too, you can look at it from a perspective of columns, too, not just dozens. So take advantage of that and play around with that and see what you come out with, because I'm telling you, you could do this. You'll see how it's just like permutations. It's really difficult to lose, and it's not something that you want to play forever, but you could certainly intermix this in with permutations with just simply red and black. So you're doing red and black also, and you're also doing columns. You can go back and forth. So you can do just that See, you could just do that alone and just make out like a fat cat. So keep all of that in mind when you're thinking about a lot of the free stuff that I've got going. I mean, the free stuff, most of the stuff if you bought anything, then it's just another perspective of what's already great. And the more perspectives that you have at your arsenal, when you can intermix them in your style of play, you know what that means? It means you're not going to lose because you're now a head coach of a great team. You have multiple plays. Okay. You know, you ever looked at Bill Belichick's or any NFL coach's playbook? It looks like a Bible. They call it the Bible. Some teams, it looks like a Bible, and some of it you can't even interpret or read. It's just like, what is this? But you need plays. The only thing I'm doing is giving you plays. Now, this play, we're doing it this way, and also doing the original permutations. That is the play of the century. Last thing I'm going to say, you can also do this by streets. So if you just, and that could save you some money too. You could cover streets like this and see if we win something. Well, and then you can do whatever the permutation is. I'm just showing you how it would look if we covered streets. See what I'm saying? So you could even do it that way. That saves you money. Okay. So there's just no reason for people not to have success through Permutations Pro. Certainly no reason for you not to have success through team play, which is ultimate. But to prove how good all of it is, I'm giving you this stuff for free. That's the reason that I'm saying it's, anything that you get, it's well worth it. Now, it's not, if you're coming to this from a perspective of thinking you're going to make $1 million and you could just do this day in and day out, and you don't have to have patience and endurance, and you don't have to manage, you can come here and just make $1,000 a day. Please don't waste your time here. Go somewhere else. Please do not. Please, please, please don't waste your time. Don't waste your time with anything. Don't ask any questions. Just don't waste your time if that's your angle. Okay. If that's the way you're approaching life, if that's how you're approaching this, you're probably approaching life the same way. And people like that, you got to be very weary of, and you got to remove yourself from them, because they don't think about what they do, and they take hard risk without understanding and knowledge or patience or diligence toward anything. And they will ruin you because they are ruining themselves. They're called addictions. They have addictions to ignorance to a degree, if you ask me that. So it's like you're addicted to very ignorant thinking. I mean, this is really not difficult to master this. It really isn't. And it's not difficult to master life if you understand it. If you understand how to calculate variables, if you understand the essence of time, why you can't play every single spin unless you have a system like this, maybe. But even then, you shouldn't do it. But you should alternate it between something else. Okay, because you're still limited. And you have a 2-to-1 advantage, but the game is very chaotic. So this is just another groundbreaking play that you can add towards your book that can give you some home runs at the end of a game. You know what I mean? So think about it from that perspective, and we'll be catching up with you in another thing. So remember, this is permutations. Think about the last 3, 1, 2, or however many, and just look at the dozens in which they landed, and then you're going to repeat those dozens the same way you would in permutations with red and black. But the difference is how you're going to bet it. And again, if you need the spreadsheet, just make sure you send me an email about it, and I can get it out sent to you. Also, I have another video with about talking about the spreadsheet, how to make calculations and stuff like that. You could take a look at that, or if you just need a good Excel tutorial, there's a lot of good tutorials on YouTube about Excel. So take a look at all that good stuff. Hope you guys are having a great day. Again, sorry guys for if it bugged any of you guys, but trust me, it at the end of the day, I'd much rather have that than to have a silence and no one who loves you, and but everyone's dying around you. Take every moment and live. Hopefully all of what I'm doing here is going to extend life into you and give you more time back so that you can spend your time on earth in peace and in wealth and in health. This is what this is all about, redeeming your time. We're just using the same thing we do in business, the same principles we would do in business. And we're able to make more logical choices because we can calculate our risk. And the cool thing, we can make an acquisition choice in under 30 seconds. In business, the acquisition cycle is much longer. And the more money you have, the shorter it becomes, but the more liability you also have too. That's the reason most of them fail in 4 years. This is 90% failure rate in business. You can't calculate a lot of that stuff. A lot of people who play the stock market, there's millions of variables that affect that Dow going up and down. All right. Those sub markets and different things like that. Those are different factors that affect that, much of which you cannot calculate. OK, here I'm able to calculate it, and I'm showing you guys what this looks like. So take advantage while it lasts, and I'll be here for a while, and then we'll see. I don't know how long I'll stay online, but I'd be honest, I really got sick of dealing with just a lot of ignorant people, and that's one of the reasons why I just took a break. But during that break, I learned so much, and I'm bringing it back to you guys now. All right. So check out Team Play on permutationspro.com. Check out anything else on there. Hit me up if you have any questions or concerns, or just want to say thank you or whatever. All right. Take care, guys. Bye.